See the gentleman in this picture? His name is Dave Ramsey. Dave Ramsey is a financial guru. He's helped a lot of people get out of financial difficulties. You may hear him on radio. You've probably seen him on TV giving people advice. And his advice, if you take it, can help you out a whole lot. Now, I'm saying all of this because recently Dave Ramsey was talking about potentially for this country, or many other countries, frankly, or the entire world, going to a cashless society. I'm going to repeat that again. The entire country, maybe even the world, going to a cashless society. The reason I bring this up is because I had a real unfortunate situation happen to me. My ATM card has been hacked. Well, that's a bad thing, and everybody knows it. So once I found out, and my bank let me know that something wasn't right, that a transaction was made that it didn't make any sense to them because they monitor what I do. They said, "Hey, did you make that transaction?" I said, "No, I didn't." And realized someone had hacked into my card. Well, they canceled the card, which is what they're supposed to do. And they said, "We'll have you a new card in 7 to 10 business days." Now, you heard me right. 7 to 10 business days, a new debit card replacing the one that was no longer functional. You know what that meant? For 7 to 10 days, I couldn't get access to anything. See, my bank happens to be in one location down in Texas. I'm one of those people, military people, and well, that's what we work with. But we can use any ATM anywhere, in the United States. That's the way the system works with my particular bank. That's all well and good, provided you have an ATM card. I didn't. I realized for the next week, maybe 10 days, I didn't have any access to any of my money. Well, think about it this way. What if we went to a cashless society? Everything that you did, every dime that you have, got to put it on a card. It goes into a bank. And that card can be monitored by the bank. And at any time, whether the bank or even the government could say, "We don't like what you're doing," and they can stop your transaction. You'd have to pay for everything with your card because now you go to a grocery store, see people checking out. Everybody seems to use a credit card or card of some type. Very few people pay in cash. I don't think I've ever seen anybody write a check anymore. Ask yourself this question. When was the last time you ever wrote a check? I know places that you had to write a check up until just recently because, well, they hadn't switched into modern society and banking. Now those places, well, now they're taking credit cards and it's done online. Everything is done online, folks. Think about it this way. You get a bill for something. Say you get a bill for your power company every month. They're saying, "Hey, why don't you go paperless?" Some companies are saying, "If you don't go paperless, we're going to charge you a fee of $3 a month just so you can get your bill to see it in your hand." They want it done, electronically. That means you have to have an internet, right? That means you have to pay for that. And God help you if the internet system ever goes down. You know, if this country was ever attacked by somebody, they could launch a nuclear bomb in the air and create what's called EMPs. It's electronic pulses. Those pulses from a weapon of that sort will fry every piece of electronic circuitry from your watch all the way up to computer banks. Gone. It electronically fries them. And if you're a cashless society and the only thing you depend upon what's in the bank electronically, you're out of luck. You got nothing. So in a cashless society, folks, anything you do, well, it has to be done electronically, which means anything can be checked, anything can be looked at, or anytime you try to make any money, has to be electronically done. Well, where did you get that money from? Someone may ask. Or how about you want to make a donation? Donation can't be made in cash. Let's say you want to sell something. You go to a flea market. You want to sell a whole bunch of stuff you have. Well, the flea market is, well, you'll only be able to use a cash. Someone can use a card to buy your stuff you're selling at the flea market, which means you've got to have a device to accept that card. Everybody will. That's a cashless society. You want to go to church, right? Make your donation to the church when you're sitting there at the service and they come around with a basket. Won't be coming around with a basket. Coming around with an electronic machine, you plug your card in. Put on there how much you want to donate. That way the church knows exactly who donated and how much you donated. It's not anonymous anymore. That's what you get in a cashless society. Anything you do, anything you want to do at all, it can be traced. And if someone doesn't like what he did, they're going to say, hey, tell us where that money came from. You want to try to go out and sell something, you got a product in your house. Maybe you got a wheelbarrow you want to sell your neighbor. 20 bucks? Can't give you 20 bucks. He's got to do it by plugging it into your cash machine, your little box you carry around. Well, government can say, hey, you sold something. Why, that goes onto your taxes. So anything you want to sell on a garage sale, imagine having a garage sale. Your garage sale, everybody has to hand them their card into your machine so they can record what you sold. Then the government gets a hold of that information and says, well, you owe taxes and all that stuff you sold. That's what we're looking at, folks. You may not like this, but for the talk of going to a cashless society, you better think about it. Because I realized what it was like without a credit card or being without my ATM and not being able to buy anything until I get a new one. Nothing. I couldn't buy anything. I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't eat. I couldn't buy food. I couldn't get a car wash. I couldn't do a thing because I had to have that card. And that's what life is like in a cashless society. And without that card, you are nothing. And you can be made nothing real quick. If someone sees your account and doesn't like what you're doing, they could say, we're canceling your account out. And essentially, they're canceling you out. So, cashless society? Well, maybe Dave Ramsey was right. Cashless society is not necessarily a good idea. As a matter of fact, it may be a very, very bad idea. Something for you to think about. And now, you know.